سألناك الخير في الدارين بفضل رفقك يا قاهر الكون. ربي سألناك الخير في الدارين بفضل رفقك يا قاهر الكون. بسم الله الرحمن جدين جلقبت دبيك يا مقا ربي تنبند. الحمد لله قالت قلبت كنور فوان إننا كني فلد وفي ملك ربي نفقر قاسفت. أكنا بلا في سوير كوتا سفت أكولين نقف رحمة ساقت. سيرا وحي ردين سنبال مد قلني كان ساتي بالبي قوتد. الرسيرا دبجو فمرت فد قرو تنجل كبين درواب فد قرو تنجل كبين درواب فد ويقبل مرة يا دومتا فد. أكنت ففونغا في جواب فد قباب سيرا تجتر كان فد أفانين اللي تاتوكوكا بوكي فد همهم لقوتي تسيفة جغاد رسول قرد رحمة بوفد آلي صحابو تاتابيا تنبد مؤمن توتون دابو رحمة ساكد قوفتا قوتير قد غرغر سساتيني بفضل رفقك يا قاهر الكون. لا إله إلا الله رانجل كبهاسا محمد رسول الله دنتاسا يا جل شهادتين لافتات مسنسا يا نمني كان دون فتل دريسا يوم قوتمنا نقر لا تاكنسا أكن قرو دبي يعني ندماسا of كيسا دي حفور قباسا يعني كي يقري فنقل جالانسا نافهم سيسي يا ربي سمركت وانسا ربي قوس كجيلا قرون دي سواسا
علماء يدوك
قبيل النبي دبدوس مع الباسا أجبك وانسلا ينونك كبيساسا يونمني فهمك وففايتاسا قلبي كينيا فقود يمسي سكرانسا لتكو فمينو غيبانسا نمني كان باجو داند وباليسا دبين وبلما جبدو لجبيسا بكا كان بيكاني تددبيسا يا نمني اسلام ما دافتا تميسنسا رب منون جدي اسن وباليسا وان جبيسيف قبا ميلالا جبيسا قوات ورقما وبلما كيسا وان فقوليسا وبلما انجيني بفضل رفقك يا قاهر الكون. كنافا وحي وبلما تفوفي يوتدد بنا مؤمن توتافي واجب الاسلام ما قدانا ستفي بكي ديني نرقد تجابل في والججود الدبي لا في اجتفي قرو اسلام ما غافر كميدو في غافا يفانك الدنيا دافي مصلحة جرين أمتا تبدو في مدينة تقول يونا مننا في الدنيا يهدو كنا كفر كيسة في ربي رب ما سامع تسرع في نعمانو كنا مينو تبرار في يا أمة شهادتين قدوم نيو عقيداتين كولي دارو في ميقا دمك يوتو بنسي في سلا سندقه نمني بيكار في واهم غيا كان كيرا أفجو في وان دنيا رت في تاو اتفقناني بفضل رفقك يا قاهر الكون. ربي سألناك لا فوز في الدارين بفضل رفقك يا قاهر الكون. ربي سألناك الفوز في الدارين بفضل رفقك يا قاهر الكون. برباد بلما كان الرنان أكنني فني بكان ددبه يوت ددبه نما أفغل جته أول إسلام ما بكا كان آغي هاررقني كينيا إرقا كان تهي همو منا قلي ونمتان كهي ددبه سببا نافته قلبي حقي برباد لكيرنا بوه إرقا أبلمان دان دي نسرته نكجل ربي موت جولته دعوة نبي ربي اسكنام بكا غيه والجالة جيساني ومؤمنة جيه قراجة في حديثنا قدسته قراجة في حديثنا قدسته قبل جابر مدو ورقتا تغيه سور سايه سدي حسفقوسته نما بيددال كيستي والغيه سلمان فرسي راسه برومي كيه بلال بشارة لكوس قبرته ربي تيامني قبر ما لبه جراف بلومي مراد في قيه إلا خير متى كيستي والقي دبي نسيبه إداف بي في تاني بفضل رفقك يا قاهر الكون قالنا ربي باسمك لا نسينا نملك سكرانك تجالا الحمد لله يا ربي يا رحمن موتي موت وني قفت أرضي بسما نتاسف زي اللهم تسلام إليك نرجو بين قيمة شكري ربي جنة قلقنا قلما نوبلا سرامان كرانسا كجيلا نسيدان نملقسي كرانكي تجالا الصلاة والسلام على بالقاسم رحمتك يتبوسي كان إنكم نرما أهل الأحزاب تتبع تندما هندر جرات أهل الإسلام مؤمن توتكينو غرغار يا رحمن برانو لابدو كان كمانا كما يا ربي ملغسي فياتا كريما إنجيل إسلام ما نتلجب يا الله نسيدان نملغسي كرانكي تجالا الحمد لله سيابان غلطا نملتك جلتي تكا يوم جلتا كنو يتاسفت بلامت أمتا محمد جلا أمتا نبي جغاري ارقم رحمتا نما سنفان بوه ومن كيس قوفتان نم لسان اردو في بريتي نادتا أمتا ساني تو ربي وفي غلطا نمني ربي تمني هم لسان جلتا إيسان مررفتا لبو في جالا نسيدان نملكسي كرانكي تجالا قرآن ربي تياسان أساجا
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. تكون دمتك السنة ورا اليوتيوب يكون
Hasan asa jalo karana biti karan kara jalo nama jagal biti ngafage selalu namni kana bari karde mu walalu wankal kami fika yo Quran lalu khalifa arditi isa dunia dalu kanjade ilahi da kankalake malu karabbe ajalo arabu riftula nasridan numilgesi karanke tujala يا ربي يا الله قال النساء قفتا كراو في فدنا مكاو قدنا تاسف زيدام سومتان قبو أخبار الإسلام هم من دندو ربي قر مؤمنات نافقه أكاو جنك يا ربي ججته يا رب جي خيري كرقانو تهو ننتاسي سنكم برقانو تبه نمنتي نجابا تهواتو كل انتهو خير فتهو يا ربي يا الله نسري دانو ملكسي كرانكي تجالا سكدنا ربي باسمك لا نسري دانو ملكسي كرانكي تجالا سيكوفا يا ربي موت من قرر لو كنت ديني لسوا وندرا إرقام متانك وفنا بوفتي كرارا جيجاك موانتنا كسر برا شريدان دبجونا كنت جرا وانرقا كيماني نرقم لنا مرا وانتنسي كردو يا ربي هندرا إرقانا كنت ينفودا تنرا jirtu duniyaarra itti wal yaadachiifne waan khayrii taatirra yaa rabbi nummaysee nakkee faqiiqarra yaatee nu gargaaran maaloo numa tola nasiidhaan nu milkeessi karaan keetu jaalaa. Risala Rasula facaasaa teenyu marabbinu kenne ammuma dandeenyu ulamaatti adeemne warra dhageenyu khayrirraa fulanne ummata nageenyu waan gochuu dandeenyu dhiifne biran teenyu karaan ittiin diinii kaddamuu dandeenyu baree diina islaamaa bakkayyuu nageenyu kitaaballee binnee wallaan harka keenyu kunis bardaawaadha dabarsaa hateenyu qadiruma dandeenyuun nuuqaa'e rabbanaa nasiidhaan nu milkeessi karaan keetu jaalaa. Galata kee yaa Allah kunoo har'a geenye waan ati nu laaffifte waliif himna teenye hammati mirgeessite barruudhaan kekkeenye nashkuruka yaa rabbi gurraa walii geenye gargaarsa kee malee takkaa maal dandeenye abdii qabna garuu bakka yaanne hin geenye waliif himna waan beektotarraa dhageenye gariis waan ijaan argine bira geenye ammuma dandeenyeen waliif himna jalaa nasiidhaan nu milkeessi karaan keetu jaalaa. Assalaamu alaikum yaa jamaa boreessaa dhiiraa dubartiidhaan dhihoo fagoo keessa kan goote jireenya argattan duniyaa keessa meenaa dhaggeeffadhaa wallaa dhageessisa oduu khayrii qabu tokkon si odeessa sochii ummata islaamaa jiru biyya keessa gammachiisuun nabuu garii obboleessa nan hima waan rabbiin nu tarjoome keessa wanta nimuu fedheef khayrii arganne keessa isa sichi argannuuf hamlee nu jabeessa.
Champions League, we've deserved to win Super Cup, World Club Championship and now Premier League, and now it's about keeping that going, staying hungry and keep wanting more, and I've got no doubt that the players at this football club will want to do that.
What a guy, what a leader. His final words that kind of summed up what he's brought to the team. It's just relentless. He's already talking about wanting to win more, keep this going. This isn't the end for him. He just wants to drive them on to more success.
Yeah, it's been a phenomenal story, and I got asked a question. I was doing a Zoom in lockdown for somebody, and they said what would be a fitting moment for Liverpool to actually win the title. I was given a few options, and I just went, no, I'd love Jordan Henderson to score the winner against Manchester City to lift it. It would have been fitting, and I looked Jurgen Klopp's first game, Tottenham. I think there was only 3 or 4 players who played that day are still there. Only Jordan Henderson played that game, but he was around the football club, obviously. But just before that, well, Brendan was here. There was talk of him obviously leaving the club in a swap deal for, I think, Clint Dempsey, wasn't it? And he just went, no, I want to fight for my position. And then he got into the team, and then he had to take over Stevens' boots as captain, and took a lot of criticism. And when it wasn't going too well in the early days, he took a lot of criticism, Jordan Henderson, but he was resilient, and he knew that he could make it. He knew that he could be a success at this football club, and that just shows the determination and the character of the person. And here he is now, captaining them to the Premier League title, Champions League, World Club winners. It doesn't get any better of him, and rightfully. I always think it's a generational thing when we look back and think, who are the greatest captains, who was the greatest team, Liverpool team has been, is it 89, is it whatever it may be, and we're quite generational and think, oh well, Kenny's my favourite player, and the modern generation will say Steven. He should rightly go down as one of the greatest captains this football club's ever had, because of the adversity he's been through, but also the success he's brought to this football club. And it was only just before lockdown, when he was injured, we noticed how important he is as a leader. When we had that little bit of a dodgy spell, we lost a couple of games, didn't we? Went out the Champions League. He is so important to this football club.
You've played with so many different players over your career. I just wonder what you make of the strength of character that he's shown, because he's the one guy in that squad who's missed out on the title twice in the final stage of the season whilst at Anfield. 2014 by a couple of points, last season by 1 point, having lost 1 game. Some players wouldn't bounce back from that, some would crumble, but he's been driven by it.
Yeah, but there's a real belief, and that goes back down to the manager. It's all right nearly doing it, and I said it today in an interview, it's all right like almost winning the Premier League, but by default kind of thing. they've really put an honest challenge in every season, not every season, but certainly last season, and they come so close. But winning the Champions League obviously has helped them as well, ease that pain. But they started this season as real contenders to Manchester City, and he knew that. But also, I think, having that kind of character around the dressing room has been so influential for so many of the younger players, not just in the team, but the academy players coming through, seeing how he lives his life, how he trains. There's him, Van Dijk, Milner, Lallana. They're all of the same character, they're all cut in the same cloth. Top professionals who live, breathe, and they have to. This modern day footballer has to live and breathe football to be in this position, and if you don't win things. And if they're great role models, fantastic role models for the younger players, like Trent, Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones, all these younger lads that have really learned from the likes of Jordan Henderson. He's a proper captain.
There'll be, I think, a few more warmly anticipated sights than that of Jordan lifting the trophy in the coming weeks when it does happen. Okay, back to Anfield now once again to get more from Pete and Gary Gillespie.
Welcome back to Anfield, and we've got Gary Gillespie with us, a former title winner himself, of course, multiple times as a Liverpool player, and of course he has enjoyed some of these moments with us as well, and he's marvelled after some of the players that we've seen in the montages throughout the day today. The one thing that you never get with winning sides is if you don't have that togetherness in the dressing room, you can't achieve anything, can you?
I think when you look, a good team or a great team will always be a good or a great side, but in saying that, I mean you have to have that camaraderie within the dressing room. You have to have that kinsmanship, and I think this team have got it in abundance, and that starts at the top really, from the manager down, and I think he realises and understands that, gets that totally, and it was lovely to see them last night after the victory, when we won it, that they were all celebrating together, and that's the way it should be. You should always celebrate winning together, and obviously in defeat you console each other, and as I say, all the great sides, all the great sporting sides, not just football, but all the great sporting sides have camaraderie within the dressing room, and as I say, this team have got it in abundance.
Leaders and characters as well.
Characters as well, absolutely, big characters. I mean, I've been here since, I've been commentating since Jordan Henderson came to this football club. Now, if you had said, I don't know what it was, 7, 8 years ago, maybe even longer than that, Jordan Henderson was going to be the player and the leader that he has become, people would have questioned you, but that just shows you the character of that guy. Unbelievable character, unbelievable ability as well, and he'll go down as one of the great Liverpool captains.
The story that's traded so often, isn't it, about him almost going to Fulham. I remember him being out of the team under Brendan Rodgers, and players are often a little bit reserved in praising the manager, but he praised Brendan Rodgers at the time because he said, he's told me what I need to do to get back in the team again, and that was an early sign of just how good his attitude was as a professional.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in this game,
ربي الحمد لله